What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Alright, so Warzone's new map, Caldera, has been out for a few days now, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have been testing out different weapons, trying to figure out what the meta is, and have been, just testing out weapons in general. And I just wanted to show you guys how I personally build my assault rifles, because I've been testing out for a few days as well. Of course, there are plenty of ways of building assault rifles and just class setups in general, but I find that this is the best way, and a few attachments are really gonna show often in your class setup. So of course it's kind of like Modern Warfare and Cold War. There's like a similar pattern when it comes to attachments, but then some of them will vary depending on the weapon and depending on how you feel about the weapon and your playstyle, but first things first, was we start with the Optic. Of course, the Axle arms 3 times from Cold War and the VLK 3 times from Modern Warfare stood out as the top optics, that people used. So I think in Vanguard weapons, the G16 2.5x is what people are leaning towards. So I'd say, this is kind of like the equivalent of the Axle 3 times and the VLK 3 times. So pretty much this is what you want to rock. But of course, if there are other optics that you like, please do rock them, don't be afraid. But I find that this is the best one for me and the cleanest one, so I'm gonna go with this one. Next up, you're gonna go with the longest barrel. Pretty much you could see right away that the longest barrel is pretty much these two, but the real difference here is that this one gives you reduced body damage but gives you more headshot damage. So if you're more an accurate player or more of like a rebirth player, then I'd say this one is better, because you tend to hit headshots a little bit more. But since we're playing in Caldera, it's more of like long range engagements, you really want to go with like the best and longest barrel, which is highly accurate and controllable. It gives you reduced scope sway and more damage range, so we really want this one. Next up, you want to pair it with the lengthened ammo, just because usually barrels are tuned to give you more bullet velocity, more damage range, but it only gives us more damage range. I think it's more of like the Vanguard approach, which is understandable considering the fact that we have 10 attachments. So we're gonna go with lengthened, which just gives us more bullet velocity, which is very important in big maps such as Caldera, Verdansk, and stuff like that. Next up, we're gonna go with a stock. So you're pretty much gonna choose the stock that gives you the most recoil control. In this case, there are 2. Of course, it's gonna be personal preferences, but I do like this one more for the STG, because it gives me more horizontal recoil control. Plus, it gives me aim down sight speed, which is a huge plus, when it comes to like long range weapons. We don't want to be slowed down just because we're trying to, engage in long fights. So yeah, pretty much. And then the last attachment that is going to appear often is the Polymer Grip. You really want to choose this rear grip. It is the equivalent of like the Commando foregrip, but instead of it being an underbarrel, it basically becomes your rear grip. So Polymer Grip. Anyways, these are pretty much the attachments. So it's kind of like the Modern Warfare and Cold War pattern, where you have the same 5 attachments, but since this is Vanguard and we have 10 attachments, we have a little bit more liberty of what to choose. Of course, you're gonna want a bigger magazine, but it's not always the case. Some people don't want to rock it. Maybe you're in solos, you don't really need to rock a lot of ammo. But in this case, 60 is what we're gonna go with. Of course, we're gonna be penalized with our aim down sight speed and real quickness and movement speed, but that's expected when rocking a bigger mag. Anyways, in terms of perks, the reason why the perks are not like a recurring thing with different ARs is because they have different perks for different ARs and for different weapons. But for the STG, I think Vital is really like the best one, because it gives you increased torso damage, which is pretty OP in my opinion. It does give you less recoil control and accuracy, so if you want to change that, you could always go with Sleight of Hand, which is pretty good in my opinion as well. Acrobatic, which is also a good perk, but we also have Nerves of Steel, which is accuracy and recoil control while suppressed. So I think I'm gonna go with this one. since Vital does kind of hurt our recoil control accuracy. But if you are a good player, or generally speaking, have a easier time controlling recoil, then of course go with Vital. It will really help you deal some more damage. But we're just gonna go with Nerves of Steel just to really maximize accuracy and recoil control. Since it says while injured or suppressed, we're gonna go with the MX silencer. Like I said, if you really wanted to maximize this for recoil control and you are really an aggressive player, you don't really care about being suppressed, then of course go with the F8 stabilizer. It'll give you the most accuracy and most damage range, which will further increase your damage range, which is insane. Paired with Vital will make it even more crazier. But since we want to be suppressed, we're gonna go with the MX silencer. And then as for our second perk, I pretty much fully loaded. I'm always gonna put fully loaded. I think on hand is good as well. Less downtime after using equipment, so you can throw your grenades, your weapons, whatever. I mean your throwing knife or whatever, and then you won't be penalized too much on the time. As for our last attachment, I'm gonna go with the M1941 hand stop. I think it is the best, or one of the best under barrels. It gives you recoil control plus accuracy. But if you feel like aim down sight speed is a little bit too slow, then go with the Mark skeletal. But like I said, I'm gonna go with this one, and this is pretty much how you build your Vanguard weapons. If you go, like, for example, with the Automaton, you're pretty much gonna build it the same. So like I said, 2.5 longest barrel. In this case, there are two long barrels. There's this one, and then there's the Anesthesia Sniper. Actually, there are three long ones, if I'm not mistaken. There's this one, and this one. But if we compare the pros against the cons, compared to the other two barrels, here we got bullet velocity and range plus accuracy. Here we got accuracy as well, controllable, plus aim down sight speed, headshot damage, damage range. So this is the equivalent of the other barrel from the STG, which gives us reduced body damage. So we don't want this one. Like I said, if it's more for like rebirth or multiplayer, I think it's fine. Here, so we have pretty much just these two. They're both very good. This one is highly accurate and reduce scope sway, but this one gives us the most benefits in my opinion. I really want that bullet velocity and range and accuracy. We're gonna go with lengthened for even more bullet velocity. We're gonna go with a stock that gives us best recoil control. This one is good during sustained fire, so while you're shooting it's good, but at the beginning you're gonna have that initial recoil control, while firing. So it's gonna be like the first few bullets, I guess, are gonna be harder to control, so we don't want this. And then here, the first few bullets are controllable, which is the opposite of this one, but during sustained fire you're gonna lose accuracy plus recoil. So this one is pretty much the best one. It gives us initial recoil, firing recoil, plus aim walking movement speed, plus aim walking steadiness, just for that extra steadiness, which is always good. Here in terms of perk, for the STG we put I forgot, Nerves of Steel. There you go. I still don't have the names memorized. But for the Automaton, we're gonna have Tight Grip, which is accuracy and recoil during sustained fire. So we got initial firing recoil plus accuracy and recoil during sustained fire. So we got both of best worlds. Of course, we're going to put fully loaded, like I said, all the time. And the Polymer Grip, which is the grip you always want to use. MX silencer. In this case, you could always put the F8 stabilizer since we don't have Nerves of Steel. And then you can rock the M1941 hand stop, like I said. So yeah, this is pretty much like how I would build my assault rifles for long range engagements. Of course, I wanted to talk about SMGs, but I don't have them leveled up, nor my LMGs, nor my snipers. I pretty much just leveled up assault rifles for Vanguard. But yeah, I'm more of a assault rifle SMG type of guy. I like being aggressive with my SMG, plus being super accurate and just beaming people from far with my long range weapons. So yeah, anyways, that'll be pretty much it for today's video. I forgot the magazine. You're gonna put 75 rounds. But yeah, anyways, that'll be it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. You know, if you still haven't leveled up your Vanguard weapons, that's fine. Always take your time. You can always come back to this video. But yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.